Alrighty. There's Rocky. He's very graceful. I think it's shaping out not to be a very nice day weather-wise. The wind is blowing out there pretty hard at times. Maybe that'll go away. Sometimes it does. I really hope it does, because we don't need it. Anyway, there's a trend that I've noticed, and it's a trend on the part of the woke crowd. You know, the anything goes. Let's promote all forms of wickedness, and let's bestow some virtue upon these things. Let's let's just take all the nasty things that are happening, and let's whitewash them, and let's hide behind the banner of human rights. In the meantime, we're big on abusing human rights, and we won't acknowledge God-given human rights. As far as we're concerned, all your rights come from the government, which, of course, by association, come from the devil, because these earthly systems are, in fact, Luciferian systems. And so the devil is behind them. So anything that comes from them is going to be of the devil. But here's the thing. What they do is, when they run up against somebody like me, who will openly express an opinion that runs against their opinion, or what they want. Like the other day on Facebook, I expressed an opinion that Canada, which is my country, has become a homosexual country. Well, I base this off the fact that we're having, pride festivals and pride parades everywhere. They already have June considered Gay Pride Month. They want to make it Gay Pride season. They want the entire summer, June through to the end of September, to be a Gay Pride season. Our government has talked about doing that, declaring the entire summer gay, basically. So the season of summer will be officially a gay season, homosexual season. A season in which we celebrate homosexuality. Now, let me make myself clear. I don't hate homosexuals. I don't think we should beat homosexuals. I don't think we should jail homosexuals. At least not for being homosexuals. If they commit a crime, that's different. But I don't think being homosexual should be a crime. It was at one time, until 1976 in this country. It was a crime, and we did jail people for it. I don't think that was right. However, I also don't think that we should be a country that's dedicated and devoted to it. And I don't think we should be required to celebrate it. And I don't think children should be exposed to adult sexuality. I really don't. I don't think the 6 or 7 or 8-year-old needs to be exposed to certain things. I think it's just common sense that you don't expose people to things that they're not ready to be exposed to, especially children. Look, I mean, I wouldn't expose children to certain things. I'll tell you a story. I was over at a friend's house one time, and actually another friend of mine was living in the apartment below this first friend. And this was a building where they had a yard and stuff like that, you know. Anyway, I didn't have a yard where I lived in Perth there downtown in an apartment above a bank. I didn't have a place like that. And I couldn't, say, repair a lawnmower or whatever in my apartment, you know. And so I went over to my friend's place, and I had this lawnmower. And what it was is, well, actually, I had two lawnmowers. I'd salvaged a couple of lawnmowers out of the scrap metal, and I was going to build one lawnmower out of it. And this was to do work at a place where I was working. I was doing property maintenance at a place. And I needed a decent lawnmower. And so what I did is I built one lawnmower out of two lawnmowers. Well, the lady who lived upstairs, who was also a good friend of mine, she had a little boy. Little boy was only 4 years old. You know, just a little boy. And I remember when I'd be around there, the lady upstairs, she used to work at night. She was a cook in a restaurant in town. So she worked at night. And so she'd be leaving to go to work. And that little boy, of course, he'd have to stay with his dad. That little boy would be going hysterical. He'd be throwing his arms around her legs and crying and screaming, "Please, Mommy, don't leave me here. Don't leave me here." They couldn't toilet train him. He was terrified to use the bathroom. Absolutely terrified. He's 4 years old and he was still crapping his drawers. In fact, I remember one time I told his mother, I said, you know, you better get him toilet trained because he's going to be in school soon. And they won't put up with that, you know, at school. And she said, yes, I know, but he's terrified of the bathroom. I can't get him, you can't get him in there, you know, he's terrified of that room. And I says, well, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, I know now what was going on. But I didn't at the time, and neither did she. Anyway, back to my lawnmower story. I'm in the yard there with the lawnmower, and I'm, you know, taking parts off one machine and transferring them to the other, and so on, like you do when you build one out of two. And the young lad there, the little boy, he come out, and you know what kids do? Kids mimic adults, eh? So the little boy come out, and he had his little plastic, you know, lawnmower, his little toy lawnmower. He's pretty cute. And he came out, and he says, my lawnmower's broken too. Can I borrow a wrench? So I reached into my toolbox, and I give him a wrench. And he was happy as hell, you know. He was there beside me now, working on his lawnmower. And he had the wrench there, and he's pretending to be wrenching on different things on it and stuff. And he's talking away to me. Now, his mother had went over to the fence and was having a conversation with the lady next door. Over the fence, you know, like neighbors do. So she wasn't privy to this conversation between myself and her son. Well, what happened was the young lad's chattering away to me about this, that, and the other thing, and he's all happy because he's fixing his lawnmower. He's telling me, you know, I haven't been able to cut the grass. This thing hasn't been working right. And I said, oh, well, you know, I'm glad you got the opportunity to fix it. I said, because, yeah, you want to get your work done, eh? And he says, well, yes, you know, I'm falling way behind. You know, it was pretty cute anyway. Little kid, you know. But anyway, During the course of the conversation, he says to me, he says, "Hey, do you like movies?" "Yeah," I said, "I like movies." "Oh," he said, "what kind of movies do you watch? What kind of movies do you like?" I don't know, I like a good comedy sometimes, a funny movie. There's different movies that I like. I said, "What kind of movies do you like, though?" I asked him. And he says, "Oh, well, my favorite movie is a movie called Up My Butt." Well, right away, alarm bells start going off in my mind. This is a 4-year-old boy. And Up My Butt does not sound age appropriate for a 4-year-old boy. Just the title of it didn't sound right. It didn't sound like something, if he had said Barney Goes to Town or something like that, or, the Captain Kangaroo movie or whatever. Okay, yeah, that sounds like something a 4-year-old would watch. I'm kind of dating myself here with the Captain Kangaroo reference, but you know what I mean. I'm sure that little boy had never even heard of Captain Kangaroo, but still, you know what I mean. This was not an age-appropriate title. And right away, alarm bells start going off in my head. But I didn't want to be seen to be leading him to say anything. So I knew I had to be very careful in my response. And so what I did is, I said to him, I said, "Oh, I've never heard of that movie." I said, "What's it about?" See, that way I'm not saying, "Is it about such and such," or whatever, I just said, "I've never heard of that." I said, "What's it about?" And he says, "Well, there's this guy, and he's naked, and he puts different things up his butt." I said, "Oh, no," I said, I don't think I've ever seen that one." And that's all I said, because I did not want to, to be accused of leading him or coaching him to say something. Anyway, if it came to me having to go to court and say that, this was the conversation that was had. And so what I did then is, when his mother came back over, I took her aside and I said, "You should know about this conversation I just had with your son. Turns out that little boy's father was a pedophile. And when the mother was at work, the little boy was being subjected to a lot of things he shouldn't have been subjected to. And he was being shown gay pornography in order to, I guess you could say, normalize the activities which would follow. He was afraid of the bathroom because that's where the activity sometimes happened. Now, this woman had just broke up with her husband. They had just split up prior to this conversation. And the reason they split up was because he had had sex with her 14-year-old twin cousins. He had had both of them. And they were developmentally disabled. They were 14 years old, and they were both born developmentally disabled. And he seduced them and had a threesome with these two 14-year-old girls who were his wife's cousins. And she found out about it, and that ended the marriage. Anyway, she did a thorough search of their home, and in a box under a pile of blankets in the little boy's closet in his bedroom, there was a box there full of pornography. It was all gay pornography. And in that box was a video. It was a DVD disc type deal. And in that box there was a video, and it was entitled Up My Butt. It was a gay pornographic video. Now, I told my friend, if you need me to talk, because there was a social worker involved at that point, because of all the dysfunction in the home. I said, if you need me to speak with the social worker, I will do it, no problems. And I said, if you need me to go to court and testify about the conversation that I had with your son, again, no problems, I'll do that. I never did hear any more about it as far as any involvement on my part. But I did make the offer, and I meant it. I would have done that if I'd been asked to. I was never asked to. But, you see, the thing is this. Exposing children to things that they should not be exposed to is wicked. It's actually a wicked thing. It's a satanic thing. It's evil. In fact, it may be one of the worst forms of evil. That little boy should not have been subjected to all that stuff. It made him totally dysfunctional. He couldn't be toilet trained. He was in hysterics every time his mother left him alone with his father. Understandably so. This was all because of a selfish creep, that was getting some sexual pleasure out of doing things to his son, exposing his son to things he should never have been exposed to, And that's on top of all the other stuff the man had done. The man had actually gotten into the apartment upstairs where my friends lived, and their granddaughter, they were raising their teenage granddaughter, and he'd placed a hidden camera in the apartment. Now he ended up, he got arrested. He got charged because the two 14-year-olds that he had statutorily raped, they reported it to the police. Their parents reported it to the police. And so my friend's place got raided. My friend downstairs, his wife, this guy's wife and him, their place got raided, and the police took computers out of there and all sorts of stuff. I guess they never found the box of gay porn in the son's closet. Or they did, and maybe they figured it wasn't a crime. I don't know, but they did take out computers and stuff. On those computers were images of my friends that lived upstairs of their young granddaughter, their teenage granddaughter, in her bedroom. So some of them were nude images and so on. That was her bedroom. And anyway, she was only, I don't know, 13 or 14, something like that, at the time, that little girl. She's a grown-up woman now. This is quite a few years ago. But here's the thing. The guy was a total creep. That's what it boils down to, just a total creep. And obviously was into children. And, like I say, he exposed his own son to things that his son should never have been exposed to. Did things to his son that you should never do with a child, yet let alone your own child. And really screwed that boy up in a big way. And now our government encourages people to take their children down to the Pride Parade and look at nudity and sex toys and simulated sexual acts. When I speak against this stuff and I call it evil, I'm not specifically speaking against homosexuals. Look, the Bible says the practice of homosexuality is an abomination. So if you practice it, then that is evil. I don't believe people choose to be that way. I think it's just the way they are. But I do think we choose what we practice in this life, whatever it is, even if we have one inclination or another. I mean, look, I'm actually a straight heterosexual man. I have a lot of issues with women because things between myself and women have not been good. But I'm still a straight heterosexual man. I'm still physically attracted to them, even though I don't want to be going down that road anymore with them. But here's the thing. Let's say I had a female friend who I found really attractive, who I was physically attracted to. But let's say she's married. And let's say she puts herself in front of me, though. Let's say she wants to have an affair. And she lets me know, in no uncertain terms, if I want to go into the bedroom with her. You know, she's ready, willing, and able. She's open to it, and she's ready, willing, and able. You just say the word, Tom, and we'll go into the bedroom. My husband won't be home for hours, you know. Let's say I stop at the house or whatever, you know. Well, yeah, okay, if this is somebody I'm physically attracted to, then I wouldn't be able to help but to be a little tempted. But in the end, it would be my choice. I wouldn't have to go into the bedroom with her. And I would hope I'd be a decent enough guy that I wouldn't, you know. I would hope I'd make the right choice, and the right choice would be not to do that. Because it would be adultery. And because of the harm that it does to a family and you know, and all the rest of it. And because of what God says about adultery. He kind of tells us not to do that, not to be mixed up in that. And so I would have to make a choice. It would still be a choice. The fact that I found the woman attractive, the fact that she was a woman I would be interested in, if she wasn't married, that doesn't mean now that I have the opportunity that I am compelled to avail myself of it. You see. I mean, look, I don't even believe the pedophiles choose consciously to be attracted to children. But what I do believe is that they choose to act on it. And so my issue is not really with, say, with homosexuals. You hate homosexuals. No, I don't. But what I hate is that the country is being, for some reason, some bizarre reason that I don't understand, the country is turning into a homosexual country. We got gay flags flying everywhere. We got rainbow crosswalks. We got pride festivals. We're actively encouraged to expose children to sexual things. In the schools, children are exposed to sexual things. There's a kindergarten teacher up in Northern Ontario that got fired from her job and investigated by the police for a possible hate crime. You know what she did? She removed a pride flag from her classroom door. Somebody had hung a pride flag on this lady's classroom door. This is a kindergarten classroom. And she took it down. And she ended up losing her job and being investigated by the police. That's just one story I know of that's happened here in Canada. So when I speak on these issues, I don't come from a place of hatred against any specific group of people. I'm not hating on the people. I'm hating on what's being done, either by them or in their name. And I don't believe even that all the homosexuals approve of what's happening here. I don't think every homosexual wants to expose children to age-inappropriate things, or wants to be mixed up with children in an intimate way. I don't believe that's true. Some of them do. And the same is true even for the straight population, though. Some straight people want to be mixed up with children in inappropriate ways. You know, there's the man that will lay there in bed beside his wife and wait for her to fall asleep so he can sneak down the hall and diddle his daughter. That does happen in this world, unfortunately. And So it isn't that the gay people have a monopoly on that sort of behavior. But the bottom line is, if I speak against certain things, against the way my country's going with all this gay stuff and trans stuff, when I speak against unfettered access to abortion and different things, all these issues, now you may agree with me or disagree with me, and you're entitled to that. I uphold you in your right to do that. If you think I'm way off, that's fine. You're entitled to your ideas too. And that is freedom. I had a woman on there lecture me about freedom the other day and tell me, well, the majority of the people want Canada to be that way. So who are you, to impose your ideas? Well, I'm not imposing anything. I'm expressing my opinion. And the fact is, there's a lot of people who disagree with it, but they're afraid to speak because you get attacked. You run the risk even of having legal problems because of it. You can be deplatformed. You can be verbally attacked. You can be physically attacked. You can be investigated by law enforcement. All sorts of things happen in this country if you speak against this trend towards, I don't know, I'm going to make up a word here, I guess, and call it the homosexualification of the country. Anyway, what I've noticed, though, is the overriding theme is shut up. Shut up, don't speak on these issues, it's none of your business. And, I had one woman on these comments say, and it seems like it's practically all women that are speaking in favor of all this stuff that I'm against, I had one woman on the comments tell me that I'm a vile, hateful bigot, and that I need to learn to shut up and mind my own business. And my response was, this is happening in my country, it is my business, and I will not shut up, and so you better get used to that. You're going to hear from me. And I'll tell you, they get pretty mad at you, though, because of that. And it is a risky thing to do. And of course, and then, like I say, they throw all kinds of accusations at you and they tell you to shut up. But bottom line is this: evil will want you to shut up. When I'm told you're not allowed to have an opinion, this is none of your business, shut up. When I know that it's something that I am allowed to have an opinion about, and it is my business, because it's happening in my country. Or it's my business because it's something that has to do with humanity. Last time I checked, I was a human being. That makes me a member of the club. That makes me a member of the human club. So yes, I have a vote. When we're deciding, are we going to decorate the clubhouse in rainbow flags and everything? Okay, let's take a vote on that. Well, I have a vote. So does everybody else. We all do. Because we're all members of the club. You can vote for it or you can vote against it. If you vote against it, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to go out and murder homosexuals, which is, I've been accused of that too. You want to go out and you want to murder all the homosexuals. No, I don't. I don't want to murder anybody. I don't hate people like that. Again, this idea that, or people will say, well, I know a homosexual and he's a really nice guy. Look, I don't doubt it. I'm not saying he isn't a nice guy. That's not where I'm going. That's not where I'm going at or coming from with the things I say. But again, they'll accuse you. You see, and again, it's a false accusation, but they'll accuse you. You're not gung-ho, head over heels in love with what's happening, and therefore you're a horrible person. And you want to do all these evil things. and you need to shut up and mind your own business. No, none of that is true. And I know it isn't true, so you're not going to guilt me. You're not going to make me feel bad. You're just not going to do it. But anyway, the thing is this. You know it's coming from an evil place. When people are telling you that you don't have a right to speak, that you need to just shut up, it's none of your business, you have no right to speak about issues that clearly are your business. And about things, isn't he cute, eh? He's laying there on top of me. And about things that that do directly impact a person, you have every right to speak on these issues. And you have every right you have as much right as the next guy to have an opinion. You don't have to be in agreement with everything all the time, or you're a horrible person. Agree with this evil stuff we're doing, or you're a horrible person. No, that's not how this works. Anyway, that's it. I do notice a trend toward shutting up. You need to shut up and mind your own business. This has nothing to do with you. We want to do this thing, and anybody who disagrees with us just needs to shut up. No, that's not how it goes. You know what they say? Evil flourishes when good men do nothing. So there is that. And I'm not even saying I'm a good man, but the bottom line is I have an opinion, and my opinion is that what's happening is evil. Whether I'm right or wrong about it, that's my opinion. And I have a right to that, and I have a right to say so. I have a right to say what it is. Nowadays, other people also have a right to speak their opinions. But to say, no, only we may speak, you must shut up because your opinion isn't our opinion, and only people with our opinion may speak. No, that's not. And then they'll turn around and say, because of freedom. No, that's not freedom. Freedom is everybody gets to speak whether anybody else likes it or not. That's freedom. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you later.